Good morning. Well, yesterday we talked about what I'm supposed to do as a pastor. I'm supposed to cut it straight. I'm supposed to represent the text as it is and make it applicable to your lives. What am I not supposed to do? Well, I'm not supposed to do what often happens in preaching, unfortunately. And the next verse tells us what we're not supposed to do. Let me read 2 Timothy 2:15 again. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed, rightly handling the word of truth. Verse 16, but avoid irreverent babble, for it will lead people into more and more ungodliness. What is it that will lead people into more and more ungodliness? What is the irreverent babble? And here's an interesting point to be made. The same language is used earlier in Paul's previous letter to Timothy in 1 Timothy 6:20. And here's what that reads, and it's the next to last verse in the letter to Timothy, the first letter. So it's an interesting way that he wraps up his first set of injunctions to Timothy. 1 Timothy 6:20, O Timothy, guard the good deposit entrusted to you. That's the gospel, and that ministry of the gospel. Avoid the irreverent babble and contradictions of what is falsely called knowledge, in quotes. For by professing it, some have swerved from the faith. Grace be with you. That's 1 Timothy 6:20 and 21. Avoiding irreverent babble. So let's just think about that for a second. It's that which people falsely call knowledge. How do they falsely call it knowledge? Well, it's likely that what we're dealing with here might be like a kind of early seminal form of Gnosticism. Paul deals with this at different points in different letters, some more than others. But it's clear that there were people who were latching on to the notion that they could arrive at some type of enlightened super knowledge that would take them to another spiritual plane. And probably they were questing for that, seeking for that. And Paul is warning Timothy, stay away from that stuff. Stay away from speculation. Stay away from acting as though you've arrived at some framework of knowledge that others don't have. We have forms of this in modern biblical writing, modern writings and stuff about the Bible. Think about like the Bible code books and things like this. Certain kind of ways that we look at the text as though it was like an ancient code book, almost conspiracy theory-like. These kinds of ways of approaching the Bible are not what the Bible was intended for at all, and they are getting off into irreverent babble, claiming knowledge where there's not knowledge at all. Knowledge is in the plain written text. Knowledge is in understanding what is in the Greek and the Hebrew of these originals. Knowledge is understanding how it fits together in its context in a meaningful cohesion and bringing it to bear in our lives. So one of the things I'm not to do is to get off on crazy speculations. It's to stay within the parameters of what the Bible clearly says, to cut it straight, and to avoid irreverent babble. Well, you should follow that too. And so be content and embrace the Bible as the Bible sits. Don't look for some type of esoteric knowledge that you could pull in and speculate about. Don't waste your time with that nonsense, even though people want you to, and there's books written about it, and internet videos about it, and YouTube videos about it. Instead, sit with the proven word, sit with the gospel, and think through how it applies to your life. Thanks. Have a great day.